It was just another ordinary day on the crowded streets of the city, where life moved fast and people barely noticed each other. But for Maya, a young street girl trying to survive, every day was a struggle. Little did she know that today would change everything. As she wandered past shiny cars and tall buildings, she noticed a young boy sitting alone on a park bench, tears streaming down his face. He didn't belong here. His clothes were expensive, and his eyes carried a sadness that seemed too heavy for someone so young. Most people would have walked past, but something in Maya's heart made her stop. Curiosity and compassion pulled her closer, and she asked him why he was crying. What he revealed shocked her, a problem so big it seemed impossible for anyone to fix. And in that moment, Maya made a choice. A small action that no one could have predicted would change the course of both their lives forever. Little did she know, this single encounter would not only open doors she never dreamed of, but also set off a chain of events that would challenge the boundaries of wealth, kindness, and destiny. What happened next would leave everyone speechless. Maya knelt beside the boy, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to offer comfort. "It's okay, I'm listening," she said softly, her voice carrying a warmth that seemed foreign in the cold city streets. The boy hesitated at first, as if unsure whether anyone could understand him, but finally, he spoke in a shaky whisper. He told her about the pressures he faced, about a world of expectations, wealth, and loneliness that no child should have to carry. His name was Arman, the son of one of the city's wealthiest millionaires. Yet behind the luxury he felt invisible, trapped in a life that seemed perfect on the outside but hollow within. Maya listened, feeling a mix of pity and curiosity. She had grown up learning to fend for herself, navigating a world where people often turned away, but something about Arman's vulnerability touched her in a way she hadn't expected. She realized that this encounter was more than coincidence. It felt like fate. As the minutes passed, the city around them continued in its usual rush, but for Maya and Arman, time seemed suspended. Neither of them knew what would come next, yet both felt that a small, unexpected action could spark a change neither had imagined. And the question lingered. How could someone from the streets and someone from a world of wealth ever cross paths in a way that would alter their lives forever? Maya couldn't stop thinking about Arman long after she left the park. His words haunted her, the loneliness hidden behind his designer clothes, the pressure to meet expectations he hadn't chosen. She had always believed that wealth was a kind of shield, but now she realized it could trap someone just as cruelly as life on the streets. Meanwhile, Arman sat in his family's luxurious home, staring out at the city lights, wondering why this street girl had seemed to see him in a way no one else ever had. Back on the streets, Maya faced her own struggles. She had friends who were skeptical, people who warned her not to get involved with someone from a world so different from hers. They didn't understand the strange pull she felt, the curiosity that kept bringing Arman's story to her mind. At the same time, Arman's life was full of its own complications. His parents were powerful and controlling, making decisions for him at every turn, and his older brother was jealous of anyone who drew attention to him. Both of them were caught between worlds, Maya fighting to survive, Arman fighting to be seen. Every choice now carried risk, and yet, the more they thought about that fleeting encounter, the more they felt an invisible thread connecting them. What neither knew was how dangerous and transformative that connection could become, and the secrets it might uncover if they dared to follow it further. Days passed, and Maya found herself thinking more and more about Arman. She couldn't shake the memory of his tears, the vulnerability he had shown so openly. Something inside her urged her to do more than just wonder about him from afar. She started watching for him in the park, hoping for another encounter, unsure whether it was curiosity or a growing sense of responsibility that pulled her. Arman, on the other hand, felt a strange mix of fear and hope. No one in his world had ever treated him like a person rather than a project or a name. The memory of Maya's eyes, filled with understanding and honesty, lingered in his mind, making him question everything he had taken for granted. He longed to see her again, yet he feared what his parents would think, and even more, what people like his older brother might do. If they found out he had been seen crying in public by a stranger, the tension between their worlds grew stronger. Maya's friends noticed her distraction, warning her that getting involved could bring trouble. Arman's life at home became even more suffocating as his father pressured him to attend social events, while his brother plotted to undermine him. The city felt smaller yet more dangerous, as if fate was forcing them closer to a collision. Every step they took, every decision, seemed to edge them toward a moment that could change everything. But what would happen when those worlds finally met again remained uncertain, hanging in the air like a question that demanded an answer. Just when Maya thought the connection with Arman might remain a quiet, fragile thread between their worlds, an unexpected twist turned everything upside down. One evening, as she returned to the park hoping to find him, she overheard a conversation that made her blood run cold. Someone was looking for her, not Arman, but people connected to his family. People who didn't want strangers getting close to their son. Fear gripped her, but so did a strange determination. She couldn't let this connection slip away, not now. Meanwhile, Arman faced his own shock. His father had discovered a glimpse of the encounter's security footage from the park and was furious. To him, Maya represented an unpredictable element, someone from a world he couldn't control, and suddenly, the possibility of seeing her again became dangerous. His older brother, sensing an opportunity to manipulate the situation, began plotting to use Maya's presence as leverage to embarrass Arman and strengthen his own position within the family. The stakes escalated quickly. Maya was no longer just a street girl. She had unwittingly stepped into a world of power, influence, and secrets. Arman was no longer just a lonely boy. He was a young heir whose every move was watched and judged. Both of them realized that one wrong step could shatter the fragile connection they had. And in the shadows of the city, the question lingered. Could two people from completely different worlds find a way to trust each other? When everything around them seemed set to pull them apart, the tension reached its peak one rainy evening. When Maya and Arman found themselves face to face in the park, under the dim glow of the streetlights, Arman had finally defied his father, sneaking away from the mansion to find her, while Maya had decided that no threat, no matter how powerful, could keep her from helping him. Words tumbled out between them, a mix of fear, frustration, and hope. For the first time, they both acknowledged how much the encounter had changed them, just as they were beginning to feel a fragile sense of relief. Arman's father appeared, flanked by security, demanding that Maya leave immediately. But before anyone could act, Arman stepped forward, standing tall in a way he never had before, and declared that he would no longer be controlled by fear or wealth alone. He explained the truth of his loneliness, his desire to live authentically, and how Maya's kindness had given him courage. Something in his sincerity struck his father silent, while his older brother glared, realizing that his schemes were unraveling. Then came the final twist. As the tension broke, Maya revealed a secret of her own. She had been saving money from small jobs for years, and in an astonishing turn, she handed Arman a small notebook filled with plans for a community project. She had dreamed of building a project that could change the lives of children like her. The revelation shocked Arman's father. Maya's bravery, resourcefulness, and vision weren't just a fleeting act of kindness, they were the spark of real change. In that moment, the walls between their worlds began to crumble, and both realized that sometimes, the smallest acts of compassion could set off the biggest transformations. But even as they celebrated this victory, the question lingered. Could their bond survive the pressures of wealth, power, and the scrutiny of the world around them? In the weeks that followed, life began to shift for both Maya and Arman in ways they had never imagined. Arman's parents, initially wary, slowly came to see the sincerity in Maya's heart and the positive influence she had on their son. His older brother, though still proud and competitive, realized that true strength didn't come from control or manipulation, it came from courage and kindness. Arman and Maya started working together on the community project she had envisioned, combining her street-smart resourcefulness with his access to resources and support. For Maya, it was a life-changing opportunity. She could now dream bigger, not just for herself, but for others like her. Children and teens who had few chances to rise above difficult circumstances. For Arman, the experience opened his eyes to a world beyond wealth and privilege, teaching him empathy, humility, and the power of human connection. Their bond grew stronger, built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. The city that had once felt cold and divided now seemed full of possibilities. And while challenges would still arise, both had learned a valuable lesson. Somebody